Good evening, folks. Welcome to tonight's edition of the SITREP. How's everybody doing out there? Go ahead, post up, comment if you are watching. We definitely love to get our comments and whatnot in. Sorry we missed you guys last week, and we're back at it this week. So, yeah, how's everyone doing? Everyone good tonight? I am pulling up a couple things real quick. Last week we had our first Clarksville or Operation Autocross event, and 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we had our first event, and it was a blast. We had a great time out there. I'm going to go ahead and pull up. I got two things right here I want to pull up, and we open both of them. There we go. All right, so great time out there. I'm going to go ahead and share this with everybody. We're going to talk this for a few minutes. All right, there we go. Tim Gordon, first up in the chute, barely edging out Paul Brummeyer. Is that like a sign of things to come at UMI this summer? And for those on here too, Paul will be on with us next week to talk his path into motorsports and his beautiful Camaro that he rocks. All right, so let me go ahead and present this. Let's see, share screen, give you guys the background works here. And boom, shared. All right, raw times. Topping it out was Brett Lloyd with a 2022 Subaru WRX. Came in with a 28.261. Austin Hall took second overall with his 2016 Mustang. One thing that I want to highlight with Austin is that he's been autocrossing for a couple years now, but he bought that car last fall, showed up and ran it at the first event. He'd never had owned a manual car before this one. Minor modifications. I think he's running Michelin Pilot Super Sports on that, or Pilot Sport 4s. I think Pilot Sport 4s on it with a Steeda suspension. I'm pretty sure it's just shocks, or not shocks, but springs and sway bars. And dang near took the whole thing home. I mean, he was only 2/10 off, which impressive. It's really awesome to see him, move forward in his journey through racing. Sean Hayden, who is always a force to be reckoned with when he comes down to these events, took third. What I find really interesting here is Jimmy King was right behind him by 0.03 of a second. What is awesome about this is that Jimmy King is in an 89 C1500 truck. Beautiful truck. This thing is very well put together. He's done all the fab work and everything himself. Custom 3-link in the rear on this truck, and it is just a very well put together truck. LS swapped, full roll cage, very well done. Needless to say, though, it's still a very large truck. And Sean coming down with his BRZ, very well prepped car, very good driver, and Jimmy's able to stay within 0.3 of him. It was an awesome deal. And then rounding out the top five, Michael Morris. He's been racing with us for a couple years now in his 22 BRZ. He has really improved as well. I mean, you can see he's now sitting there in the top five at times out here. It's really cool to see these guys come out and learn how to drive and become better and get faster and faster and faster. A couple other highlights. Becky Plum, her first autocross ever. She has never raced that car before. It's a 17 Camaro, and she took it out and just went for it. What I want to point out here is that she started never having done this ever at a 62.2 and ended with a 41.9. Now, that improvement shows she's becoming more comfortable, and I would dare say our next event, she's going to be well into the 30s. Alyssa Daniels, same deal. I want to say this is her second, maybe third time autocrossing ever, and pulled down from a 43 into a 36. It's awesome to see these folks out here and get after it and racing, and we have a great time with it. It really is an awesome time. So let's go ahead and pull up. All right. Let me see here. All right. Hold on just a second. We're going to pull one more up. We're going to go by class. And let me open it. And there we go. All right, now I got to share with you guys again. Yeah, Tim, Becky's been rocking it. It was really cool to see her out there first time running. She said, you know what, I'm doing it. I don't care. All right, and by class, here we go. So classes, we broke up into our classes, 2 in the all-wheel drive class, and then moving on front-wheel drive. Wayne Doyle topped out that with almost a perfect 30 flat. Austin Hall taking rear-wheel drive. Sport class, Cameron Clark with a 2001 Z06. Come in, he was 6th overall, I believe, with a 29.89. Sport class is always a fun class because we get such a variety. Everything from the Porsche Cayman S to Corvettes, 370, 350Zs, old RX-7. What's this? Beautiful car. And then an older Porsche 944. Again, it's awesome to see these guys get out here and run. And, Jerome and Trispoli, it's a father-son combo. They're out there racing with each other, and it's great to see people coming out there and having a blast. Dallas, he came out with his Hellcat. He had to leave a little early, but he was out having a good time. He shows up, runs that car hard, good-looking Hellcat Challenger, and he in the end, he's getting ready to leave. It's lunchtime, and he comes up, and he's like, hey, can I do a burnout? And I'm like, you know what? Send it. So he went and spent a couple donuts in the middle of the course. We're all for that kind of stuff. We want to have fun out there. So formatting for this year for the autocross, we've kind of changed it a little bit. So previously, we tried to run a bunch of points and competitions and all sorts of things. And while I think they were enjoyable, it was a lot to keep up with. And I think what we're going to do this year, we've changed, we've talked to a few different people, and I think the move forward for this season is events 1 through, I think, 5 are just open events. Come out, drive. We're going to focus on getting laps in. We shut down a little early this past 2 weeks ago on Sunday. We shut down a little bit early. I want to say like right before 3 o'clock, and everyone showed up, got 12 runs. The focus is that we're going to focus on getting people seat time. We, however, are going to plan our last event of the year. We're going to work on that being an actual competition, and we're in the planning phases of that. But I can rest assured it will be a big event. It will be a great event. There will be prizes on the line. There will be it will be a great time. So if the one event that you ever come to for us for the entire year is the last one, definitely make it to that last one. But if you're looking for seat time and you need to test and tune, or you need to prep yourself for a big event you've got coming up, whether it's SCCA, Good Guys event, going to Drive Autocross, LS Fest, it doesn't matter. Any one of those. These events are perfect for that. You're going to get, we run it in heats. We'll stage the cars in heats. We'll keep track of times, and we're going to continue to do that so you know where you're at and know how you're improving. And, if you and somebody else want to have a friendly wager, then by all means. But we're going to focus on seat time. Our goal is to keep it at 12 runs a day every time. Not only is it 12 runs a day, you don't need to shag cones. We have an awesome volunteer crew with Jeff Mackins and Alyssa Daniels and Becky Plum and Evan Plum. And, all these folks come out and help out, and it's a great time. So focus on getting seat time. That's what we want to see you guys do. See everyone do is get that seat time and get yourself prepped. We run the heats. The way the heats are set up is you will get 4 laps back to back. Basically, you'll have 10 cars in a heat, and you'll get 4 quick laps as fast as we can get those 10 cars through. Average course time about 30 seconds. You're looking at about 20 minutes to get all 10 cars there 4 laps. It moves very smoothly. Tim, you do need to come back for Hattie B's and some Nashville hot chicken. You also need to come back and see the Operational Speed Supply World headquarters, which is now finished since the last time you were here. Maybe if you bring your car up, we'll throw it up on the lift. You never know. Get up under there and look under the underparts. But needless to say, that's the plan for this year. Again, we will be holding a clinic in June, and that'll be we'll post that up here soon. That'll be a 20-person sign-up sheet, no more than 20, but we will run that clinic, and that clinic is going to help teach people. It's going to help teach people how to autocross. We're going to go through the basics of things. We'll go over braking, corner weight control, things like that, and trying to get people up to a better level. Tim, I always have my clothes on, as you can see right here. See? So, a couple other things, updates on the M86. I don't have any pictures right now. I'll get some posted up here soon. But the new engine's in. We got it buttoned all back up. We got the exhaust finished up. And we were able to finish the dual 2.5 inch with an X pipe on the Camaro. It looks pretty good. It sounds really good. The cam is a very healthy cam, solid lifter roller in that thing. Everyone has told me that I'm going to hate it after the first season because of having to adjust the valves. But you know what? We mainly focus that car on the track. I don't drive it much more often than, just when it's being raced. So I'm not too concerned about it. We got a few things to finish up. We got to get the brakes done. We're moving to bigger rotors in the rear, which will definitely help out. Going over from the little 10.5 inch stock ones that have been on there. Moved, I think, a 12 inch rotor in the rear. The other thing that we've done is we've moved to Viking double adjustables, and getting those things on, they look great. I cannot wait to see how the car feels once done. It'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, it's coming along. We've got an event on Saturday that we're running on Fort Campbell at Sabre Army Airfield. It will not be ready for that, unfortunately. There's just a little bit too much left to get done, but we will get some test and tune done. We will bring it out to the first or the second Operation Autocross event, which I believe is May 7th. And then Junior from Turn 1 and myself will be putting the laps down in Nashville at Good Guys on 19 through 21 May. Awesome event. They run it out of the Super Speedway. If it's anything like last year, that course is going to be incredibly fast. We were hitting third gear, going through the lights, close to 85, 90 miles an hour. So definitely a lot of fun. Yeah, that's right, Tim. Viking, represent. Other than that, though, questions. Anybody out there, what questions do you have of me? There's a few y'all watching. We're going to post this thing up later on to our Spotify account as well. But what's going on in the world of the of you, the community in which we serve? Tim, how's the got coming? You got it ready? Has Jeff got his car ready? You guys have got Traders World this weekend, if I remember right. We got a few of our guys are going to be heading up to the Drive Autocross event up in Traders World. Those events are awesome. They set it up very similar. We kind of modeled how we run our laps like them. And they run it in heats, and you get a bunch of heats right back to back to back. It's a great time. You got yours out yesterday, Paul? Nice. Cleaned the old tow pig. Now, for those that don't know, Tim did get a new tow pig. Actually, it's a really good looking F-150. Yeah, and our red line. Yes, you did. Tim changed the oil and the fluids of the red line synthetic oil, and we have done the same. Awesome oil. We definitely love it, and thank them for their support for our team. Big shout out to Viking for their support as well. Turn 1, all the folks. Well, it's a pretty quiet night. It's going to be a good year. We're excited about this season. We're excited about getting out and racing with you guys again. It's the only thing I missed. I have not been in my car at all this year. And so, Paul, to answer your question, I have not dialed him in yet. You have no clue what it's going to be like. Oh, we got Mike Davis on. We just got a set of Vikings on Mike Davis's car too. He, for those that don't know, he has the 2021 ZL1, and unbelievable build in that thing. It's incredibly fast. I want to say he's pushing about 900 wheel before nitrous. We got him on a set of Vikings, hoping to push him down to the 8s. He's running 9.4s at 153 right now. Tim, the coilovers on my Camaro or on the 6th gen, either one of them, they're actually not hard at all. They were both fairly easy. I would say they equally just as easy. Maybe the 3rd gen's a little easier because I'm not doing coilovers in the front. But honestly, it would have been easier to do coilovers in the front because replacing putting the spring back in the control arm is kind of a pain with the weight jacks. You've got to keep tension on the control arm, you pretty much got to drop the car down, lower the weight jacks all the way down, drop the car down, and then start tightening them up. Otherwise, the shock or the spring itself will pop out of the pocket. So, yeah, it's kind of a pain. But Mike's heading down to South Carolina in 4 weeks for a bragging right event. Nice. We need to get some test and tune time for Mike's car done so we can get a good idea and gauge how where he needs to set those shocks up. Triple adjustables in the rear, double adjustables in the front. We're hopeful that we can see some substantial improvement. We ended up going, he went a full BMR setup in the rear of that car as well to tighten everything up. Oh, Paul, you've got to bring this project up next week. Make sure you email me some pictures and we'll talk that. Yeah, Tim, he's chasing 8s, man. I'm confident he's going to be able to see it hit, see it happen this year, hopefully sooner than later. Getting that floor pan situated. Nice. The other thing, Tim, you, as those that know, Tim Gordon is part of the OG team for Operational Speed Supply, and we got a few goodies coming your way for the old 3rd gen in the realm of UMI weight jacks for the rear and Coney shocks all the way around. So, Tim, we want to see that thing. I want to see how fast you can make that with that 305. Stock motor and just run it till it dies, and it's a 305, so it'll never die. You're gonna have that engine forever. You're gonna give that engine to your daughter. Yeah, definitely. Well, guys, I'm definitely glad to be on here. SITREP nights are always my favorite nights. Stay tuned this week as we continue to work on the car. Next Saturday, we're going to be out there racing. It's going to be an awesome event. Love doing these events on the airfield. We make a pretty big course. It's 50-something seconds long, and it's on tarmac. You can move out. It's a lot of fun. Paul, the blueprint for some. Yes, I have seen that. I actually saw that at PRI. That thing, it's interesting. I wouldn't mind taking that motor and putting a giant turbo onto it to see what it would do. I just wonder how much weight you would actually be saving once you started adding all that stuff. It'd be interesting to see what you could pull out of it. So basically, for those that don't know, it's using, I want to say it's a small block Chevy style bottom end with an LS head on top, but it's a 4-cylinder. They basically cut the thing in half. I want to say it's using the same bore spacing and whatnot as a small block Chevy. I think the crank is fairly similar to a small block Chevy. I mean, it's obviously its own thing. Then running that LS head on it, I want to say it was a 3.6 liter, and it made about 340 horsepower, they claimed. Drop compression down to about 9-ish, 9.5 to 1, and put 20 pounds of boost through it. Let's see what we can get out of it. I mean, it might scream. It would sound interesting. Yes, Tim, 305 the world. We should find you one of them old B&M superchargers they used to sell for those things and throw that on there. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You know what, Paul? It probably could run to 10K. It's all in valve train stability. I mean, it'd be interesting on that because it's not an overhead cam motor, so you still got to deal with push rods and rocker arms and everything else. I would be curious to see how that thing could spin. I've seen a couple small blocks, really small cube small blocks spin to that. There's a YouTube video floating around with a guy in a Nova that had a 283 that he was running to like 9,800 RPMs. It sounded insane. I'd be curious to what it would take to push something like that to that. I'm sure you could probably pull 8K out of it with no problem. But having the push rods and everything, I kind of wonder how much you could really get RPM wise out of it. The weight factor, though, I mean, it's got to be light compared, to a V8, but who knows? I don't have one in my hands right now, so. But yeah. All right, guys. We're gonna go ahead and torque doesn't seem. Yeah. So I know a few that have de-stroked specifically to reduce torque. So a couple of folks I know autocrossing wise, they were running 427 based, LS7 based motors. They made, these were built motors making 700-800 horsepower. And they ended up de-stroking them because it had so much power. They had zero, ability to get out of the corner because I think it just blow the tires off the back. So they ended up de-stroking down to like a 388 and tone the torque down a little bit so it wasn't constantly blowing the tires off. But I mean, I guess it depends on how much you want to spend on a build. I think it would be really cool to take a 6.2, throw a 4.8 crank in it, and have 327 that'll rev to $8,000. But you're right, torque isn't really there. I think you'd have to play with gearing quite a bit to get it to where you want it to. I'm interested on my car on where it's going to be with this new cam. It's probably going to lose a little bit of low end from compared to what it had, but it should spin to about 77 to 7,200 RPMs. We went and focused efforts on getting that thing to rev. It's got a good set of dual valve springs in there. We've got the solid lifter cam, stud girdle on top, holding everything together. I mean, it's short of going to full shaft rocker arm setup on this. It should spin well. It's got a rev kit. And for those that aren't tracking, a rev kit is another set of springs that go on top of the lifters underneath the head. So it essentially has two sets of springs. And the rev kit is really needed, especially on solid lifter roller cams, because it keeps the cam in contact with the camshaft, or the lifters in contact with the camshaft at all times. It never pops up and there's never any. It reduces some of the ticks. Supposedly, it'll help reduce how often you've got to adjust the valves on these things as well, but it helps that thing spin. So it's exciting. We'll see where it happens. I mean, these heads were ported, whatnot. We'll see what it does. But yeah. All right. What else you guys got? This is your opportunity. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds. Questions for Josh. I know someone else is on here besides Tim and Paul. Don't be scared. I'm on a computer. I can't bite, so. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up tonight. Thank you for joining us and being a part of us with us tonight. We look forward to hanging out with you guys again next week. Paul Bermeyer is going to be on here next week. We're going to talk his awesome Camaro. And the week after that, we have special guests. We've got Joe Bella and Mike Lee of Camaro Fest that are going to be coming on, or we're going to be talking. We got some exciting plans in store for Camaro Fest. So between that and our big end of the year event that we're going to start planning, we've got some really cool things going. So always remember, never forget, call OSS Parts, because we'll hook you up and get you what you need. Check out the website, ossparts.com. You got any questions, you can hit me up on Facebook. Hit us up at sales@ossparts.com, or any other way to get a hold of us. We'll get you squared up. Thanks again for joining us tonight, and guys, take it easy.